Hello and welcome to another video by Platte Valley Woodworks. Today we will be working on a epoxy pen. This epoxy was made by a fellow Instagrammer. He made the pen blank for me and now I get to turn it into a beautiful pen. As you can see, I do not have a fancy clamping system, but this works really well on my drill press. I love to throw a angle up there, make sure I have a 90 degrees so I get a good straight drill. The marks are more for my purposes as to accuracy. I don't get a perfect center drill, but since I'm making a pen, you don't need it. This is my first time using acrylic, so wasn't ready for the mess, but got it all done. Used my vacuum, worked really well. So I've got the brass centers in, and now we're going to drill down into the blank to get everything sized up properly. You don't have to do this, but it does make it easier when you throw it on the mandrel to have them down to size at this point. Here it is all set up. We're going to go ahead and make sure everything's sitting properly with the lathe and the rest. And then pretty quickly we'll start cutting into this thing. I definitely was not aware or prepared for the fact at how quickly epoxy acrylic cuts when you're turning it on a lathe. I did not have the lathe turned up to top speed. I was just under that. I'm not positive on the actual RPMs. This is an old 12-inch Craftsman lathe that was my grandfather's. So it is belt driven, and you adjust the belts on 4 different pulleys, 4 different sizes of pulleys, and that just speeds it up and slows it down. So now we're going to go ahead and get into the shaping of the pen. Again, it cut really fast. I was not expecting that. I'm used to wood, which takes a little bit of time. This took a little more finesse. You couldn't just dig right in and start throwing shavings everywhere. Otherwise, you'd end up digging in and taking out more than you really probably wanted to. So again, as you can see, there's lots of shavings and strips getting thrown everywhere. I did have to stop the lathe multiple times and clean it up. I was not going to make a giant pile of acrylic shavings all over my bench, so I did a lot of stopping, cleaning, pulling out, vacuuming, and starting back up again. At a certain point, I did take this thing off. I took the blank off twice and pulled all the excess shavings in between that I couldn't get pulled off by hand. I did vacuum up one of my bushings, so now I have to dig through that mess in my vacuum to see if I can find that bushing, because I just sucked it right off the mandrel. All right, so we got it basic shape done. Like I said, it cut pretty quick, so I didn't. Normally with my wood blanks, I get it about as close to the finished shape as I can before I start sanding. Um, it helps to kind of cut down on the sanding because you don't really have to do a lot of shaping with the sandpaper. But with the acrylic, I was afraid that if I did that, I'd mess something up. So I just left it pretty rough, and then I started sanding it down to the actual form I really wanted it to be. Started here with 220 grit sandpaper. I did not want to go any lower than that, any coarser than that. I was really afraid that anything too coarser would leave massive grooves I couldn't get out, or take way too much off way faster than I wanted it to. So again, started at 220 and worked my way up from there. I took my time, spent a lot of time sanding it to get it to a final polish. It worked out really nice. I had picked up a pen polishing kit from Wood Turnings. That's Turnings with a Z online. Their website had a kit that had several different grits. And as you can see, this is the final product. Turned out super nice, super polished, and I appreciate you watching.